Thank you. We were talking this morning on the way in. I first spoke at Boise State, the state auditor, in 1996. Yeah, I know, y'all were just in Huggies in 1996. And I don't think I've ever missed a year. I enjoy coming here. My son attended Boise State. It's been a wonderful opportunity no matter where you meet, because you guys are going to be the future leaders of this state. Now, I know you've been told that before. I can remember being told that when, I was probably in high school and maybe community college, and they said, "You're going to be the future leader of the state." And I sort of said, "Nah, not me. You know, I just want to do something cool like be a rock star, or maybe play professional football." You know, like all of you want to do. You think, well, we'll grow up and do something special like that. And then I really thought all I'd like to be once I got a little older is a deputy sheriff. How cool could that be? I was able to live that dream. I was 22 years old, had a gun and a badge, and a car do 160 miles an hour. Yeah, I'm surprised they ain't paid me. But you will be the future. Even though at times you may think it's a long way for me to achieve my goal of maybe being a head of a corporation or maybe even governor of the state of Mississippi, I'm telling you, for a young boy from Moorhead, Mississippi, whose dad was a diesel mechanic, you can do anything that you want to do. You've got to make the right decisions. Now, that's tough sometimes, because there's so many things in life that you want to enjoy that sound like a lot of fun that will keep you from obtaining your goal. So, enough of that. Now let's talk about the fun things about being a Mississippian and about being governor of the state of Mississippi. Now, you've all heard the narrative. You know it. If you listen to NBC long enough, or CNBC, or read not the Wall Street Journal so much, but New York Times, you'll hear about Mississippi, right? I just sent another editorial off to the Politico magazine, because they always say, oh, we're the worst at this, you know, we're the most obese, we're the dumbest, we can't do that, we can't achieve this. So if you begin to buy into that, if you begin to buy into that crowd that says Mississippi's just a failure, then you'll begin to believe it too. And the first thing that'll happen, you'll say, when I graduate from one of these wonderful research universities or university here in the state of Mississippi, I'm going to move somewhere else. I need to go somewhere else because Mississippi is not doing too well. Well, my goodness, I don't want to be a failure in a failing state. Well, you are not. Let me share some things with you that you might not hear. Mississippi, after the Great Recession, was one of the first states, or one of the states, that helped make a financial comeback. Mississippi in 2014, just last year, was named the comeback state by CNBC News. Now, CNBC News, and I'm not a big CNBC fan, but me and Rachel Maddow may have a new relationship now. I'm beginning to like CNBC News. Since 2009, we have become one of the comeback states. Absolutely, heard a little bit earlier, we'll talk more about what we're being able to do, but if you say, well, you know, I need to move to Texas or Tennessee or maybe even New York, Chicago, somewhere like that, because, you know, that's where all the beautiful people live, that's where all the money's being made, those big, tall buildings. We'll talk about the cost of business and the cost of living. Mississippi, according again to CNBC, is number 6 in the nation for the cost of living. You see, if you make $100,000 here in the state of Mississippi, which is easy to achieve for young men like yourselves, the cost of living here is so much better than it is in other states. As a matter of fact, you normally would receive about $16 to $18 more for every $100 that you make in the state of Mississippi than you would in New York or Washington, D.C. or Los Angeles. Go try to buy a house in Los Angeles, California. Mississippi ranks number 6 for the lowest cost of living in here. Then we look at, well, what do we do in Mississippi? How are we being so successful? Well, in Mississippi, we make things. We make about 350,000 Nissans a year at Canton, Mississippi. Think about that, 350,000. Just up the road in Blue Springs, Mississippi, we reach 500,000 Corollas faster than any Toyota plant in the history of the world. Now let that soak in for a minute. manufacturing 350,000 cars, 8 different models at the Nissan plant. We've reached 500,000 about every 17 seconds in Mississippi. An automobile rolls off the assembly line. And these are just not some average automobiles. These are some of the most advanced automobiles ever known to man. You see, we do that in Mississippi because we're the top 5 for advanced manufacturing. Have you heard that? You read that anywhere? This is Expansion Solutions magazine. Expansion Solutions are filled with a bunch of guys who wake up every morning and look at the cost of living, look at the cost of manufacturing. They search the states and they try to determine for their clients where's the best state for you to locate your business. For example, when Yokohama Tire Company was looking, they looked at 28 different states, over 3,000 locations. You know where they came? West Point, Mississippi. Invest over $1 billion there. When Nissan was thinking of expanding their plant to make sure that they could make those 350,000 automobiles, they could have done it any number of places. They chose to spend their money again in Canton, Mississippi. Now, how are we doing business? Overall, if you say, well, how is business in Mississippi? Advanced manufacturing, the healthcare industry, aerospace. We've got 120 different aerospace industries. Well, according to Area Development Magazine, who rates the states, again, we're in the top 10. Mississippi's one of the top 10 states for doing business. You haven't heard that a lot, have you? No, you don't hear people come out and say it's remarkable what Mississippi's able to do, but I'm telling you, we're doing remarkable stuff. If you're paying taxes, if you're not, I guarantee your parents are. This is the most 4th in the nation, number 4 in the nation for the most tax-friendly state. Now, this is according to Kiplinger's. Now, Kiplinger, again, goes out and makes sure they rate the states for how much we tax you for your income, for your property, for your fuel, for your automobiles. We tax you on everything. Just about everything you touch, drive, or eat's got a tax on it. But at least in Mississippi, you're in much better shape than about 46 other states out there. As Lieutenant Governor and Governor, I've helped cut taxes over 41 different times in the state of Mississippi. That's why we're in the top 10. That's why we're growing so fast. That's why we're making so many automobiles, and advanced manufacturing is at the top of the list among nations. I talked to you earlier about the cost of living. Here's an interesting one. This is the Tax Foundation. Again, Tax Foundation 2014, they looked at the states and they said, well, the cost of living and the cost of taxes are much higher in a lot of other states than they are in Mississippi. So if you made $100 nationally, how much would it be worth in Mississippi? It'd be worth $116. Now let's get this math through. I know it took me a little time to work it out, but at national level, $100 is 16% more because the lower cost of living, the lower cost of taxes here in Mississippi. If you lived in Washington, D.C., you only get 86 of that $100 on average. So you just got a 16% raise if you happen to move here in Mississippi. That's why so many people are doing so. We talked earlier about unique things that are going on in Mississippi in education and elsewhere. The other side of the narrative is women don't do so good in Mississippi. Oh, you've probably heard that. Why would they think we keep women chained to wood-burning stoves down here? Well, American Express did a little survey. They actually did some research, and they found out that Mississippi is number 5 in the nation for the growth of women-owned businesses. Number 5 in the nation. Just a story the other day about how women are starting businesses, they're creating jobs, and they're doing it better than 45 other states. So next time you see one of these business women, thank them. They're growing the economy in the state of Mississippi, and we're giving them that opportunity. Oil and gas and energy, let me tell you, the Fraser Institute rates the states number 2 in the nation. Number 2 in the nation for the investment of oil and gas. All you got to do is Google this. You don't have to trust me, the Fraser Institute's job to go out and rate the states to determine what state's best to invest in oil and gas, and we are only behind Oklahoma. Only Oklahoma. North Dakota, that everybody brags about, is about number 4. Mississippi is number 2 in the nation. Now, if you were going to practice medicine, if you said, I want to become a doctor, how many of you want to be physicians? There you go, docs. Raise your hand. We're building a new medical school for you at the University Medical Center. It'll be a state-of-the-art. We've put about $40 million into it already. We'll probably put another 20 into it. Up the road, well, that's down the road outside of Hattiesburg, Mississippi. William Carey has a school of osteopathic medicine. They just graduated 91 new primary care physicians last year, their first class. So if you were trying to determine, I want to find out what state in the nation is the very best in which I, as a doctor, would want to practice medicine, according to Physicians Practice in 2014, it was Mississippi. Number 1. Best state in the nation to practice medicine, 2014 and 2013. Don't trust me, go out and Google this thing, because I know it's going to be hard to believe that we're being able to do all these remarkable things. Education. Britton talked a little bit about education. Let me brag about that. When I came into office, I said we've got to have transformational change in education, starting with pre-K. So we started putting millions of dollars the first year. I think we put about $3 million in our pre-K program. It was matched by another $3 million from the private sector called Building Blocks. So the first time ever we're going out beginning in an early childhood education program. Then we said we've got to do something remarkable. We actually have to teach children to read by the 3rd grade, because you learn to read by the 3rd grade and then you read to learn after that. We said it's going to be so dramatic, if you can't read on the 3rd grade level, you're not going to be able to be socially promoted to the 4th grade. Oh my goodness, they said. Oh, we'll keep these poor children back in the 3rd grade while we'll destroy their self-esteem. No, you won't. I'm dyslexic. I repeated the 3rd grade. Pearl Elementary School. I've had some moderate success in life. But what we have to do is teach children how to read. We're going to do that because we put $15 million into reading coaches, and we made sure we put another $15 million last year into reading coaches, $9 million the first year. We put $39 million roughly into reading coaches to get them into the schools where they're needed most. Now, there's a wonderful educational foundation called the Foundation for Education Excellence. It was managed by Jeb Bush, his brother. Jeb Bush started the Foundation for Excellence in Education. Now, a lady named Condoleezza Rice runs that organization. Y'all ever heard of Condoleezza Rice? Yeah, she was something like Secretary of State under George W. Bush, one of the most brilliant women in America. I think bipartisan, both Democrats and Republicans say this woman is brilliant. She's amazing. She's now running the Foundation for Excellence in Education. Just this year, she said, Mississippi is becoming the next great American success story in education, Dr. Condoleezza Rice. And all those children that couldn't learn to read in the 3rd grade, everybody that panicked 3 years ago and said, oh my goodness, you're going to destroy these 3rd graders if you don't promote them. Amazing here. This was Friday's newspaper, Clarion Ledger. It said students make reading gains. It says, for example, here, I may have to get my glasses out to read this. Please stand by. Tens of thousands of Mississippi kindergartners who entered school in August woefully unprepared to read made tremendous gains when tested again this month. The children improved an average of 36%. 36% improvement. You know why? Well, I think we put a lot of money into it. We gave teachers a $100 million pay raise, but that's not it. It's because we demanded improvement. We said children will learn how to read or they will not be able to go to the 4th grade. You will have to put intense intervention, individual intervention with these children until you teach them how to read. Now, it is exactly what happens in your life and my life. If there are outcomes, if there are measurements, if there are consequences, if there's rewards, you normally will do things. You will get things done. If there's none of those, you probably won't. If somebody says it doesn't matter. Coach Mullins came in to the Mississippi State Bulldogs and says, look, guys, man, that's Auburn over there. Auburn. They're in the other locker room. They're big. They're fast. People's got them picked to win the SEC, maybe the national championship. You ain't got a chance of winning. What do you think would have happened? Mississippi State would have lost that game. No doubt about it. Those students are just like you. Those student athletes would have said, the coach, our leader, just told us we can't win this game. If I remember correctly, Mississippi State was 3 touchdowns up at halftime on Auburn. If I remember correctly, they beat them like a drum. Because Coach Mullins said, we're going to win this thing. You guys have had the best coaching. You're in the best physical condition. We're on national television. We're going to show them what Mississippi State can do. And they did. They did. Those poor Auburn boys stumbled off the field in shock. That's what we're going to do in Mississippi. Not just win a football game. We're going to do amazing things. You're going to have transformational change that you will always be proud of. I know I've taken too much of your time, but if I don't tell you these things, you probably won't hear. Thank you very much.